Upon waking up, Yi realized that she had traveled through the real world, where duels held a high status. The purity of people in this world is amazing, and there are hardly any multi-field decks. A deck, from the main deck to the extra deck, is full of our own fields. Are you afraid? Just as Yuye was preparing to experience what a despicable outsider was in this world, he found that his deck was all made of mortal bones. At this moment, Yi gained the mainstream system, and at the beginning, he obtained the source number card deck. He first attacked the sect leader to suppress him, and then dealt with the field and killed him. Are you afraid or not? What? Not enough light sources. Is it just a matter of digging? Flame King, Round God, Thunder Spirit, God Cup, would you like to know more? What, is this not strong enough? Can you still struggle and move? Xianming Zhu Tears, Victory Dragon Fist is coming soon. I won't accept it, I'll hit your server. Dueling Empress. Daddy you, give me face and let me play Game King. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Crossing the World of Dueling, starting as the source. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Shocked, the Ministry of Education of Dueling has decided that in order to improve the students' level of daily combat skills, high school graduates must achieve a gold or higher rank in Master Dueling. Good news, at the 1234th World Youth Dueling Cup, Wang Jialan teamed up with the Red Pit Card team to fight 4 rounds of the Silver City espionage game, winning 3 games and losing 1 game. She defeated the Golden Country, which is also a Red Pit Card team, and won the championship. There is no limit to picking out dogs, OTK's maximum field per square meter. Yu Yi, who woke up all night long, like many young people, was the first person to watch videos with their phone. However, the more he brushes, the more numb he becomes. What kind of ghost is the Dual Ministry of Education? Why doesn't he remember having this thing as a poker player? The gold of Master Duels, isn't it enough to have hands? What is the difference between this graduation requirement and not? And this good news, Silver City beats Gold Country. New Era Red Pit versus Old Era Red Pit, and stickers suitable for the Golden Country, such as skill extraction, are basically banned for the whole family. What is the celebration of winning? Isn't this taken for granted? And then the third one Yu Yi fell into contemplation. How does the name of this video resemble the video I posted on Bilibili last night? And the IDs are consistent. Curious, Yu Yi opened it up and took a look. Suddenly, others became numb. This is not like, it's just that last night, after encountering the most average game on the ground, he used a tabletop cleaning combo exclusive to the source batch to send away the opponent's video. He just doesn't understand. There are 1,000 videos of this kind of source batch solution field on Bilibili, not to mention 500. Can this rank third on the list? Curious, Yu Yedian opened a comment section. When he saw the first hot comment, he immediately gave him an angry smile. This video is just a hypothetical synthesis, not a reality. Leaving aside the fact that the field source number has never appeared before, Tao Li can leave it aside for now. We look at the opponent's dueler, who has at least used magic rescue, bullets, crystal techniques, mischievous treasures, alliances, and cards with at least 6 fields. Some brothers may not know that the strongest genius in multi-axis fusion in history was the Abyss Dragon Fist used by last year's duel runner-up, Sui Yun, which only had 4 fields. Bullet, Dragon Cavalry, Chaos, and Abyss Beast. It can be seen that there is no dueler using the 6 fields at all. Damn it, what kind of idiot. Someone really plays a traditional game king with a field these days. This absurd comment has tens of thousands of likes and supports, and 1,000 comments have replied in agreement. At least the ground has served pancakes before, why are these people who like and comment so ignorant? No one knows. When Yu Yi cursed in her heart, she was about to rise up and reply. A memory emerged from his mind. Within an hour, Yuye's face changed from anger to surprise, to strangeness, and finally to understanding. That's right, he has traveled through time. Traversing into a world of dueling with Game King cards. In this world, whether it is disputes between people, commercial struggles, or national struggles, they are all resolved through duels. To achieve this, it is the goal of everyone in the world to improve their level of dueling, participate in the biennial world competition, and become the king of duels. It is worth mentioning that this world has a very high purity because it requires recognition from elves to obtain new cards from them. How high middle and low-end duelers, whose decks are all based on one field, are unlikely to carry their own cards. That's right, if the hand pit is not their own field card, they don't carry it. Of course, this is more because without the recognition of elves, they cannot bring it. For example, Axe King, those who have just obtained a field or those who have not will be filled in with them. Therefore, there are no banned cards in this world, let alone additional restrictions. As long as you are powerful enough to gain recognition from the elves, you can fill the pot of greed with 3. So people in this world, starting from elementary school, will find ways to communicate with card elves, gain their recognition, and thus obtain fields, new cards, and increase their level of dueling. After the memories were over, Yuye also let go of arguing with the person below the video and started looking for his own deck. He quickly found it, but looking at the Axe King card set in his hand, his scalp felt a bit numb. Brothers, who can understand? Crossing the world of Game King duels, the level of dueling has decreased by at least 10 times, and there are no cards that are available. Just as the night was tingling, an electronic sound came through. Ding, congratulations on obtaining the mainstream system. You can earn mainstream decks by gaining emotions. Monitor the host's lack of mainstream decks and receive 1 lottery opportunity. System. Lottery. After listening, Yuye's eyes lit up. As a qualified anime element, we naturally know that the system is powerful. So immediately check the lottery pool. As expected, in the lottery pool, not only the Flame King who had a great fire before crossing the time, but also the fully embodied Ming-Zhu tiers, known as the strongest super mainstream. If any of these decks are drawn by oneself, you can do whatever you want in this world. However, in addition to having invincible cards like Zhu tier, there are also outdated cards like Chaos in the prize pool. Being outdated is crossing the world before. In this world, even if it's a card deck like Chaos, Yuye has confidence that he can still fight them with it. Lottery. With the movement of Yuye's mind and the change of the prize pool, Yuye looked at the changing prize pool with a nervous expression. Who would be willing to fight slowly, given that one can fight back and be able to mow the grass without any opponents? Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the deck. Source count. What? Yuye was stunned for a moment, and the corner of her mouth began to rise. Source number card set, commonly known as dog card set. As long as you have enough money, there is no place that you cannot solve. Just like the video he posted, it takes 5 minutes for the ground to play and 5 seconds for him to clear. This deck is so simple and rough. When the leader was alive, the intensity was once on the pie chart. Of course, the source card deck is not just about strength. The most comfortable thing for Yuye is that the source card deck is the simplest and easiest card deck for abusing vegetables. People who have used it say it's great when it comes to abusing dishes. This can be said to be one of the most comfortable decks for oneself at this stage. The main thing now is to check the deck and see what cards there are. If you are a pure capitalist, you still need to adjust yourself. After all, some of the original cards in the source number really don't allow the general move to block the sword. If it's a specialized back attack, you don't need to adjust it yourself, you can start directly. Chapter 2. Indigenous peoples, feel what Despicity is. You are listening at novel full.audio. 5 minutes later, the rising corners of Yuye's mouth were even harder to suppress than AK's. The source number deck provided by the system was originally thought to be an ideal result of post-attack specialization. Unexpectedly, the system provided a complete set of source cards that were so impressive. Not only have all three of the original players reached their level, but they also have a complete set of post-attack game cards, such as One Drop, Sea Turtle, Lava Demon God, Feather Sweeper, Lightning Strike, and more. The search card Satellite Car, 1.on.1 waiting, did not fall behind. What's the most outrageous thing? It's extra. In addition to our complete family, there are also divine bows, double domes, excavators, and the most heavyweight cult leaders. You know, in this world, there are no restrictions on additional things. The intensity will directly rise to another level. The only regret is the lack of value. Added G, Gray Flowing Beauty, Infinite Bubble Shadow and other hand traps. However, the impact is not significant. The opponents he faces now, except for a few talented players, are basically Axe King vs Slayer. He won 4 consecutive victories with 4 flying dragons from the gate of source numbers. Woohoo, take off. Indigenous people, feel what a despicable outsider is. After sighing, the smile on Yui's lips gradually turned abnormal. He was just about to give up proving that his video was correct without a deck, but now he has a deck. Isn't this enough to shut up the people below the video? Ah, just like usual. At that moment, Yui's phone rang. Looking at the recipient with the note, Xiao Su, a teacher with a childlike appearance and huge breasts suddenly appeared in Yuye's mind. Xiao Su, full name Sudan, is the homeroom teacher of Yuyi. He is a teacher who has just graduated from Dueling University and started his career. Take the phone. Where are you, Yuye? Today is the day of our second-year high school midterm duel exam. Do you forget that failing the midterm exam means you cannot advance to the third year of high school? Will it still affect the dual college entrance exam? He had not yet spoken when a voice that was clearly very weak but also unusually anxious came from him. After her reminder, Yuyi just remembered that there was a mid-term exam. So the original plan to upgrade to a higher level in the Master Duel live broadcast was instantly dispelled, and when Xiao Suma arrived, he flipped over, put on his clothes, and left the room, running towards the school. I am prepared to show them what a despicable outsider is, and it is impossible to keep repeating grades. Shanqing Third Dueling Academy. At this moment, a man resembling Professor Kuronos in the GX anime of Game King stood at the school gate waiting for someone. Beside him, a young woman with huge breasts looked at the door with a worried expression. Teacher Sudan, now the Ministry of Education is demanding that students' quality be improved. Is it okay for me to personally take charge of the midterm test for Yui? The man suddenly spoke, looking at the door with a displeased expression in his eyes. This. Sudan's face became more worried, but he couldn't find words to refuse. Not to mention the requirements of the Ministry of Education, according to the regulations of the college, if the exam is late, the grade director will assign a teacher to duel with the late students as the exam. The man's name is Kurans, and he is their grade director in the second year of high school. It is reasonable and compliant for him to assign himself. Sultan realized the power gap between Yuya and Kurans, and understood that it was almost impossible for Yuya to gain Kurans' recognition. And if you don't pass, you will have to be relegated. This will become a stain on the career of night students, and it will be difficult to get into a dual university then. Thinking of this, the Sultan gritted his teeth and took a step forward to plead for Yui. When Yui's figure appeared before the two of them. Humph, finally here. Kurans let out a low snort and walked over to the door, calmly saying to Yuyi, "Yuyi, you were late for the midterm exam. Should you choose to keep up or fight me to get my approval?" However, Yuyi ignored him and walked up to the Sultan, apologizing. "Xiao Su, I'm sorry. I made a breakthrough in studying the deck last night, so I went to bed late." Xiao Su. "Forget it, it's not the time to say this now. Sudan looked at Curans, who had been ignored and now blushed, behind Yu Yi, and his heart was filled with bitterness. You come as soon as you come, why did you ignore Curans and make him so angry after coming? It's definitely useless to plead now. Oh yes, according to the college's regulations, being late for the midterm and final exams requires a duel with the teacher designated by the grade director to be recognized, right? So did my opponent, the grade director of Cullens, identify him? Yu Yi thought for a moment and then asked. I have identified myself. Before the Sultan could speak, Curans angrily exclaimed behind Yu Yi. Ah! When were you here, Curans' grade director? Yu Yi turned around and looked at Curans. After several glances, she coincidentally answered with her mind and was very surprised. It's not that he pretended, until just now, the only person he had an impression of in this world's mind was Sudan. There's no way, the recognition of childlike breasts is too high. I've been there all along. You intentionally angered me, student Yu Yi. Do you want to study abroad? I satisfy you. Curans looked at Yu Yi, his eyes seeming to release anger, and when he spoke, he gritted his teeth. Obviously, Yu Yi's words made him quite angry. Ah, this. I didn't mean to, Director Curans. Do you believe me? Yu Yi carries a hint of helplessness. I only believe in the level of duel. Upon hearing that Yu Yi was too lazy to explain, Curans picked up the duel tray and began inviting him to a duel, preparing to teach Yu Yi a lesson. Upon seeing this, Yu Yi smiled slightly without any fear and took out the duel tray to accept it. Sudan looked increasingly worried, but she understood that she was powerless to stop the duel. I can only hope that Yu Yi performs better and receives recognition from Professor Cullens. As for winning, she never even thought about it. Dueling begins. Yu Yi LP8000 vs Curans LP8000, let's take the lead. Curans glanced at the deck that had accompanied him for decades and confidently gave way to Yu Yi. As a teacher, and one of the elites among teachers, he has the confidence to break through in the face of students' initial attacks. No need, Director Curans, you can attack first. Yu Yi waved his hand and refused. After adjustment, his current source card set is a back attack OTK card set. Although the first attack can be used as a suppression for the leader, it is not necessary. He always needs to perform it for others. Humph, have you already given up on yourself? Curans let out a low snort, his eyes filled with cruelty. He hasn't dueled for too long, it seems that these students have forgotten their terror. Yu Yi, why did you give up the opportunity to show off? Professor Curans is using ancient mechanical decks, if you give up the first attack, you won't have a chance. On Sudan's childish face, it was no longer worry, but despair. She was even thinking about whether to use her connections to prevent Yu Yi from failing in the future. Rest assured. Yu Yi gave a faint smile and drew cards with Professor Cullens. Yu Yi, it seems that the world won't give you a chance. After drawing cards, Curans looked at 4 ancient mechanical monsters and a fusion card, showing a satisfied smile. Yu Yi glanced at his hand, saw a drop, the wall of source numbers, a turtle, a feather sweep, and the restriction lifted. After listening to Curans' speech, he couldn't help but silently mourn for him. The breakthrough difficulty of this hand of pure ancient machinery is really not very difficult. He never expected that he would just spend his first game in this world. Humph, make a model. See if you can still do this after seeing it. Activate the magic card and merge. Curans let out a low snort and activated the fusion in his hand. I use 4 ancient mechanical monsters in my hand as materials to merge and summon. Come out, I'm the strongest ace. The Ancient Mechanical Chaos Giant. Chapter 3. Terminal Big Brother. It's just turtle feed. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Kulun's words fell and a huge mechanical figure appeared. The Ancient Mechanical Chaos Giant, Mechanical Family / Fusion / Effect, Attribute. Ground, Star Rating. 10. Attack power. 4500, defense force. 3000, seeing the huge mechanical giant figure, Kuren's face was full of confidence. The Sultan's face on the side was full of ugliness. She understood that by the time Kuren's grade director summoned this monster, Yuye's test had already ended. As the class teacher of Yui, she knows very well that Yui's deck has no cards that can defeat this monster. Not to mention Yui, even she never had the chance to control this monster. Xiao Su, don't look so ugly. The formula for my victory has already been determined. Yui saw the unsightly Sultan and smiled, completely indifferent to the terminal monster in front of her. As if, in front of me was a whiteboard axe king. In fact, it is the same. Even he thought about roast that he would get the same treatment as the 10 generations who visited the city. My own opponent, also learning from the 10 generations of Yuqing, comes in waves of exchange. Has the formula for victory been decided? Haha, may I remind you that ancient mechanical chaos giants have powerful effects that are not affected by magical trap cards and cannot activate monster effects during combat. Tell me, how can you defeat him and win? If you can answer, not to mention the true solution, I agree with you that the theory is feasible. Before Sudan could speak, Kuren's beside him seemed to have heard the funniest joke, his face full of confidence, and he told Yuyi about the ancient mechanical chaos giant. Yuyi glanced at the turtle in his hand and then looked at the grade director of Cullen's with a strange gaze. He slowly said, "Director, has your turn ended? It's over." Kuren's looked at Yuye's eyes and vaguely felt that something was wrong, but he immediately felt relieved when he thought of the super high hit points and resistance of his ancient mechanical chaos giant. Yuyi is just a student, definitely putting on airs. The ancient mechanical chaos giants may not be able to be defeated in world-class youth competitions. This night tour is just an unknown student, how could it be solved? My turn, draw. You draw a card at night and watch as the second restriction in front of you is lifted. He looked at Professor Cullens with a hint of pity. The ancient mechanical chaos giant, it's just turtle feed. And it's not even top-notch feed. Kuren's looked at Yuye's gaze and was about to question why Yuyi looked at him with this expression. A monster resembling a sea turtle suddenly appeared and swallowed the ancient mechanical chaos giant on his field, then left on his field as an attack. Sea turtle bad beast Gamezeal, aquarium/effect, attribute. Water, star rating. 8, attack power. 2200, defense force. 3000, what? Kulun's eyes were blank as he looked at the unfamiliar monster in front of him, and he suddenly froze. What is this? What about being such a big terminal guy? How did it turn into this turtle-like effect monster? At this moment, Sudan also opened his eyes wide, his mouth wide, full of disbelief. I can't understand what's happening right in front of me. Watching the two of them dumbfounded, Yi pointed to the turtle on the Kuren's field and said, "The turtle beast Gamezeal. This card can liberate one monster on the opponent's field, and attacking from the hand card indicates a special summon. Bad beast field." As the grade director of the school, Kata, who has broken the character of the bad beast, naturally has some understanding and knows the powerful and invincible ability of the bad beast to solve problems. Understand why one's ancient mechanical chaos giant was solved. However, understanding comes from understanding. Kuren's is still unwilling to be angry, the strongest brother in his own family. It took me 5 cards to summon him out. Result, that's it. He has completely forgotten the promise he made to Yuyi just now, glaring angrily at Yuyi. Even if you cleverly solved my ancient mechanical chaos giant, what would happen? You only got the field for this 2200 monster, I don't believe you can handle it. Sudan nodded silently beside her. She remembered that the strongest monster in Yuye was the 2100 Diamond Dragon, and she couldn't solve the 2200 monster. But her gaze flickered, and she thought of a possibility. Yuyi has already obtained the bad beast field. If you have other home cards, there is a chance of victory. That's a big deal. Yi smiled faintly and said, I activate the effect of the wall of source numbers once a turn. When I don't have any cards on the field, I can activate them. Send a card or this card to the graveyard and activate the magic source network of the field in the deck. Hand card effect. Source number field. Kurans and Sultan only felt their heads itchy and wanted to get their heads pumping. The field you just used is clearly the bad beast field. How did it become the source number range again? And how come the two of them have never heard of this source number range? Yi ignored the bewildered expressions of the two and began to activate the effect. I activate the effect of the venue magic source network, once per turn. In my main stage, I usually send 1-inch source number magic card that meets the activation conditions from the deck to the graveyard to activate it. This effect becomes the same as when that magic card was activated. I choose the direct number of magic card sources in the deck. Based on the direct effect of the source number, an additional deck can summon up to 4 monsters with different names and carrying the source number gate super monster special summoning, except for monsters summoned by this effect at the end of the turn. What? Up to 4 extra monster special summoning cards in the extra deck. Although there are side effects except for the end of the turn, converting 1 card to 4 cards is really profitable. Kurans then became a bit panicked. There were 4 super monsters on the field, and he only had monsters with a continuous attack power of 2200. Maybe we'll lose. Compared to him, Sudan began to have confidence in Yi and felt that he had a chance to win over Director Kurans. Just as their thoughts were flowing, the voice of Yi reached their ears. These 4 are the initial NO. The guardian who has been monitoring the ball on this ground. Come on. Number 4, Gate 4 of source numbers. Keep appearing. Number 3, then number 2. Gate 3 of source numbers, Gate 2 of source numbers. And then this is the ultimate source number, come on. Number 1. When the gates of the sturdy skyscraper hell open, let go of the last glimmer of hope that remains. Gate 1 of source numbers. Suddenly, 4 monsters formed a huge door and appeared in front of the 3 people. Gate of source numbers 1/2/3/4, mechanical family /overcapacity /effect, attribute. Light, class. 1, attack power. 1000, defense force. 0, Sudan and Kurans looked at the door, revealing deep disbelief. 4 NO. Enter the battle phase. When the two were shocked, Yu Yedao. The 2 sultans immediately calmed down under the sound of Yuya. Kurans' originally uncomfortable heart suddenly became less uncomfortable. These 4 super monsters, Yuya, have a strong sense of oppression, but their attack power is only a meager 1000. After putting them together, they did not increase their attack power like the Alliance monsters. This turtle cannot withstand his 2200 attack power on the field. Sudan looked at Yuya with a confident expression and no longer worried. She believed Yuya had his own plans. I use Gate 1 of source numbers to attack the sea turtle monster Gamezeal. Sudan. Ah. Kurans. Ah. Chapter 4. Attack power 32,000. The limit of night travel. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Kurans looked at Gate 1 of the source numbers attacking the sea turtle with a smile on his face. Even kindly reminding Yi. Yi, you have already launched the battle manifesto and can no longer roll it back. I know. Yi nodded calmly and, after finishing speaking, spoke again. All the gates of source numbers have the effect of not being destroyed by battles. It's just not being destroyed, you still have to bear the harm. Kurans reminded. Yuya LP 8000.1200 equals 6800. Forget it, Yuya. As a dual field student, you have already proven your talent and I also recognize your strength. You passed this midterm exam. Kurans, with a smile on his face, advised this night of sightseeing. In his eyes, Yuye's current collision is a self-inflicted death, and he is a bad beast on the field that cannot pass. There is no need to continue to undermine the confidence of a genius dueler. As for why he initially blocked the door. Of course, can an ordinary student compare to a genius student? Director, don't worry. At this moment, I activate the effect of source number gate 1. At the end of the damage step of this card in battle with the opponent's monster, remove one excess material from this card to activate it. The attack power of all source count monsters on your field doubles until the end of the turn. Yuyi calmly smiled and activated the effect of source number gate 1. Upon hearing Yui's words, the two furrowed their brows slightly, especially with a hint of dissatisfaction from Curins. Judging from Yui's talent, I have taken it a step further. Yui is aggressive and can only use the effect of pulling out materials on monsters without excessive materials. This is not bullshit. Just as he was thinking this, the attack power of the 4 gates of source numbers suddenly increased to 2000. Ah! Curins looked at the incomprehensible scene, his eyes full of confusion. Sudan is no exception. She looks at Yuyi and wants to know the answer. When the source number network is present, the source number super monster on its own field can remove the excess material to activate the effect. It is possible to activate the effect without removing the excess material. Yuyi spoke up, finished speaking, and let the gate of the source number 2 Jing Xing fight. Night Tour LP 6800.200 is equal to 6600. The attack power of source number gate 1234 has increased to 4000 points. Looking at this scene, Curins was full of regret. He knew he had lost. After defeating the bad beast in the third battle of the source number gate, causing 1800 damage to him, the attack power of the source number gate 4 increased to 8000. His 6200 health points are simply unbearable. As he had imagined, when the turtle was defeated in battle, the gate of source numbers had a direct attack power of 8000. Professor, let me show you my all. At this moment, Yuya spoke up while attacking the declaration at the source number gate. Sudan and Curins are a bit dumbfounded. We've all won steadily, what else can we see with all our might? I activate the fast attack magic, the restriction is lifted. Then the chain restriction will be lifted and the second restriction will be activated. Suddenly, 8000 doubled to 160016001600, and 432,000 monsters appeared again. Is this 32,000 attack power? Curins had already been convinced, but now seeing this attack power far beyond his imagination, his eyes were only shocked. Sudan also widened his eyes in disbelief. They have never seen a monster with such attacking power, apart from some classic competitions. But now it has been done by a student. Source number gate 4 directly attacks Director Jing Xing. There is no graveyard, and the health of Curins, who is empty-handed, instantly clears to 0. Curins 6200.30200 is equal to 0 at the end of the duel. The system sound came. Ding, congratulations to the host for winning the duel. You have gained 1000 emotional points in this duel, including 3 SR level cards and 1 UR level card, divided into N, R, SR, UR. Would you like to draw a prize? No. Yuyi immediately refused, and on the way to school, he had already learned about the emotional lottery. Taking 1000 sentiment points as an example, although it is possible to draw a prize, the prize pool is drawn from a deck that crosses the environment 15 years ago. In the case of having your own active number in hand, the effect of drawing is not significant, so it's better to keep it and wait until you draw more later. Although he couldn't draw a lottery, it still made him very happy. SR and UR flat cards can be exchanged for the UR card he wants. For example, value.added cards such as G and Gray Lioli are commonly used. I didn't expect that we still have an excellent student like Xiaoya in our grade. Xiao Su, why haven't you ever said it before? Why haven't you provided Xiao Yi with educational resources? Curins was convinced after his defeat, whether it was Yuye's dual strength or his dual field talent. Sudan is very numb, she doesn't know either. Yesterday, Yi was still fighting with an Axe King deck. Today it became a dual field deck, how did she know? It's not Xiaosu's fault. I made a breakthrough last night, and she doesn't know either. Yi immediately walked over to smooth things out. From the phone call to seeing her, Sudan left a good impression on her. He is not an ungrateful person, how could he let Sudan be blamed and ignored? I see. I just communicated with the field elf. Xiao Su, for the college exchange competition in a week's time, remember to join us for the night and showcase our sophomore style. Curins nodded, implying that it was free to come to school after the night trip, and then made arrangements before leaving. How could you use double fields? Can you say that the spirits of the two fields have found you? Also, as much as I tell you, don't call me Xiao Su, call me Teacher Su. After Curins left, the Sultan looked at Yuye with curiosity. However, in the last sentence, he made a fierce and forceful expression to emphasize. Yi smiled with a tacit expression. Although Sudan is kind to her, not all the systems will tell her. You're really lucky. Sudan looked at Yi with envy. For ordinary duelers, the first time an elf with a field is found, their talent is already very high. The first time there are only two, maybe Yi can become a dueler in 3 or even 4 fields. Multiple fields may not necessarily be strong. But strong duelers usually have multiple fields. Since I have passed the assessment and obtained the director's permission, Xiaosu, I will go home. Yi said. No matter which world it is, school is not the place he wants to stay. And he wants to go home and fight in all directions on MD to prove that his video is correct. Okay, remember to come early in a week. The school will select 3 people to participate in a youth duel competition organized by all high schools in the city for this exchange competition. Sudan thought for a moment and agreed. You can defeat the grade teacher even at night, but school can't learn anything. And he only got 2 fields, so he needs to strengthen the connection between the 2 fields to obtain a new card. P.S. A pure original game king that nobody has written for a long time, hoping to cater to everyone's taste. Please provide me with some data, including 100 flowers, 10 reviews, 2 monthly passes, and a bonus for 1. Thank you all for your support. Chapter 5. The shock brought by grey flowing beauty. Counting. You are listening at novelfull.audio. You return home at night. After leaving a message for live streaming below my Bilibili video, I don't even watch the replies from netizens around the world and start a master duel. It is worth mentioning that the master duels in this world are connected to the elf world, and the account is the only ID card for each person, and only the individual can log in. That is why there is basically no situation of proxy training. After logging in, due to obtaining a new deck, Master Duel began synchronizing all his current cards. Synchronize for half an hour before the synchronization is complete. In this half hour, Yi exchanged 1 UR card, Grey Flowing Beauty, and 3 SR cards, Light Sealing Sword. The reason for exchanging Grey Lioli is that at his stage, the people he encounters only have 1 or 2 card moves, and interrupting them basically stops trading, making it easier for him to kill. Exchanging the Light Protector Sword is for fear of being drawn by ghosts and used to save one's life. After all preparations are ready, you will start live streaming. The live broadcast had just opened, and the number of viewers instantly increased from 0 to 100. And it's still increasing online. In less than a minute, it's already over 1,000. A group of netizens can't wait to eat melons. However, when they saw the bronze emblem of the rumor on the Yui homepage, the entire live broadcast room went crazy. What? What the hell, the anchor's rank is bronze 1. Why haven't I heard that the person who obtains a field will be lower than gold? XDM, let's not talk anymore, real hammer synthesized video. The top-rated guy is right, he's just a theoretical master who pretends to be a master before graduation. Scattered, another clown. Yi glanced at the barrage of the water friends, but was not angry. The information is poor, there is no way. He also understands people in this world, they really can't understand their own strength. Not at all powerful with multiple fields. I will immediately take action to figure out who the real clown is. At this moment, Yi matched her opponent. The coin is on the opposite side, choose to attack first on the opposite side. Subsequently, we will soon enter the matching page. I quickly matched my opponent. Do not take objects versus by Inji Benji, brothers, is the ID of the person across from you very familiar? Sleeping trough. It seems like my goddess Wang Jilan. Dragon people don't deceive dragon people. Wang goddess is in the platinum rank, how could she possibly meet in bronze? From upstairs, it looks like bronze, platinum, and above. If you don't fight a master duel every day, your ranking will drop by 1 segment. Gold will drop by 1 segment every 2 days, and silver will drop by 1 segment every 5 days. During this time, Wang Jilan participated in the World Youth Competition, and her ranking has only dropped to bronze. Okay, the anchor is sweating profusely. I met Wang Jilan in the first live broadcast. After knowing who his opponent was from the barrage, Yi remained calm as always. As the first 2 videos of this morning, Yi naturally watched Wang Jilan's duel video and thus learned about her deck composition. He didn't feel any pressure or even a bit disappointed about this. The reason is simple, Wang Jilan currently doesn't even have the 2 most important copies of the Silver City. That is the combat form of the elder sister, the silver concubine of the Maze City, and the strongest card in our family, commonly known as the Great Welcome, Welcome to Robbie Lease. Apart from these 2 important home cards, as someone with only 1 field, she naturally doesn't even have cards such as Disciplinary Education, Old God, Divine Declaration Series, and Heavenly Prison King. Now I am holding all the source data and fighting with her, to be honest, it seems a bit like bullying the children. Of course, if Wang Jilan holds the entire Silver City, it can really bring him pressure. With the amount of resources earned from Silver City, the number of sources played by oneself is not the beginning of the game. It is really difficult to kill OTK. Game begins. Yi glanced at his hand and directly activated the main stage 1 on the opposite side, using the general move, Ariana, the servant of Silver City. Ariana, effect activation. This card can be activated in successful summoning or special summoning situations. Add 1 Silver City card from the deck, other than Ariana, the servant of Silver City, to your hand. That's it, Goddess Wang is moving. I've looked at my hand. If it's a search clock, it must be summoning the elder sister. The elder sister is present and there are traps such as falling snow and popping up. The anchor is really cool in the source number range. No, all the cards are out. Do you really believe that the anchor is in the source number range? The monster that can't see the bad beast field is blind, right? Just as a group of water enthusiasts commented on the scenery, Yi gave a faint smile. Looking at the grey lioli that was just exchanged in the hand, use it and say, I discard the grey lioli from my hand, which has the effect of chain Ariana. There is no time on Wang Jilan's side, and the dual system begins to process it. Ariana, the search effect is invalid. What? What kind of ghost? What about the effect of Ariana? Stupid, didn't you see the strange chain lost by the anchor's hand? Chain is ineffective. Anchor, what was the monster effect of your chain Ariana just now? Cough, I know you're in a hurry, but don't worry. Looking at the anxious barrage, Yi smiled. Due to the connection between the master duel and the elf world, the live audience cannot see the monster effect of the live streamer. Of course, if the situation is made public, it can be seen. He opened the cemetery and showed the gray flowing beauty to the audience present. Gray flowing beauty, undead clan / coordination / effect monster, attribute. Inflammation, level 3, attack power 0, defense force 1800, effect. The effect of this card name can only be used once per turn. When a magic, trap, or monster effect that includes any of the following effects is activated, discard the card from your hand to activate it. That effect is invalid. This effect can also be activated in the opponent's turn. The effect of adding cards from the deck to the hand card, the effect of summoning monsters from the deck, the effect of sending cards from the deck to the cemetery. Netizens. Chapter 6. Is the defeat of Silver City determined? You are listening at novelfull.audio. What? Brothers slapped me and told me it was fake. Anchor, are you too bad? A card has invalid deck search and draw, deck special moves, deck tomb sending, what kind of anti-heaven card effect? No, the most important thing about XDM is that it's a sister card without fields, it's a card that can be replicated. Dad, I admit what I just said was a bit loud. Can this card give me a sense of elf sister? Grandpa, please give me a chance to find the elf sister. Watching the transformation of the barrage, Yi was not surprised at all. In this world, non-field cards can be replicated into sub-cards. But the requirements for reproduction become very high with increasing rarity. For example, the Whiteboard Axe King, especially those with lower panels, can be successfully replicated by individuals through cards. But with the increase of rarity, such as lightning strikes and tomb markers, even if they get stuck in front of the dueler, they cannot communicate and cannot replicate. The replicated sub-card cannot communicate with the elf. So if a dueler awakens a slightly versatile card and takes it out to replicate it, they can basically achieve a lifetime of worry-free food and clothing. Cough cough, I only have one gray flowing beauty sub-card, which I accidentally obtained. Although it can be used, I cannot communicate with the elves. Yi coughed lightly twice and answered numerous requests from netizens. After hearing this, many netizens expressed regret. The sub-card obtained unexpectedly happens to be usable, so there is no other way. Yi doesn't even know who to find to replicate this gray flowing beauty. Actually, that's not the case. Yi can communicate with the elves through the gray flowing beauty in your hand. Just copying is really not possible, obviously this is what the system did to prevent him from getting stuck with bugs. On the other side, Wang Jialan seemed a bit confused and froze for a while. Choose 3 blocks and end your turn. At the turn of the game night, draw cards. During the card drawing stage, Yi has just drawn a card. During the drawing stage, Wang Jialan opens, Welcome to Silver City, which has already been used up. Yi can only let the little welcome pass. As expected, Wang Jialan chose to attack as a special move for her elder sister, Rabelins from Silver City. Rabelins of Silver City, Demon Clan / Effect Monster, Attribute. Dark, Level 8, Attack Power 2900, Defense 1900, Goddess Wang is very beautiful, and Rabbis is even more beautiful. I declare Rabbis to be my wife. Brother, you should first obtain the Silver City field before proceeding. I suddenly had a bold idea of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. No, you didn't. Yi watched as many water enthusiasts transformed into Lao Sei Pai, and his gaze turned to Rabelins. With surprise in his eyes. The image of Rabbis in the Master Duel seems to be more than just Kato, as if she is a living girl. Hey, it seems like we can only go to great lengths to destroy the flowers. Yi glanced at her hand and sighed lightly. After speaking, move on to the main stage 1 and use the magic card Lightning Storm directly. Lightning Storm. This card name can only activate 1 card in 1 round. In situations where there is no card indicated by the surface on the field, you can choose one of the following effects to activate. The opponent's attack on the field indicates that the monster is completely destroyed. All magic and trap cards on the opponent's field are destroyed. The natural choice of Yuya is to destroy the magic trap. After he made his choice, a yellow thunderbolt swept through Wang Zhelan's backcourt. In an instant, her lair and forced escape in the backyard were destroyed and sent to the tomb. Don't do it. Goddess Wang is in danger. The anchor still has a bad beast in her hand. After liberating Big Sister, Goddess Wang only has one hand and a bad beast. How can the anchor win after liberating the older sister? I see that besides the bad beasts, he only has one monster with an attack and defense power of 1000. I remember now, the bad beast field requires the opponent to have a bad beast on the field in order to specifically recruit other monsters. If the anchor sends monsters to Lady Wang, he won't be able to pass. That's not necessarily true. Yi glanced at her hand and gave a meaningful smile. With Yu Ye's meaningful smile, the entire live broadcast room was covered by question marks. Yi didn't care about them, just used the planetary exploration vehicle. Planetary exploration vehicle, mechanical clan/effect monster, attribute. Ground, level 4, attack power. 1000, defense force. 1000, seeing the game night trick, many netizens became even more puzzled. Shouldn't we set up a general move? Is the anchor prepared to give himself a blow to his dignity? No, I remember that the planetary exploration vehicle can free up its own search site. Venue. Do you mean the venue in the source number field of the synthesized video? How could this be possible? The anchor has a bad beast field, even if the source number field exists, the anchor cannot have it. I don't believe it either. But what if? Just as netizens were skeptical, Yui, who was dueling with others, had no idea what they were discussing. He skillfully liberated the planetary exploration vehicle and used the effect search field magic source network. What? Anchor, we're here to see you joke. Are you really playing? Does the source number field really exist? It's over, Goddess Wang lost. Yeah. But it's not surprising. The anchor is a big shot in the duel field, and Wang Goddess didn't lose unfairly. What's the point of losing? Goddess Wang has a sister with an attack power of 2900 and an Ariana with an attack power of 1600. The anchor only has one bad beast in his hands now, so he can't pass it at all. Admit upstairs and show off your intelligence without even watching a video. Cough cough. To those who haven't watched the video, the Venue Magic Source Number Network can pull 4 super monsters, and all 4 monsters have doubled attack power after the battle ends. Chapter 7. 5 Fields. The anchor is elf communication. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Quickly, Yuya activated the source number network effect, summoning 4 source number gates, just as many water enthusiasts felt that Yuya had advanced to the battle level and directly won. He showed a strange smile and slowly said. Brothers who have watched the video know that I have already won. But I don't want to win like this. I heard that in your understanding, what are the maximum 4 fields that people nowadays have? I'll give you a show. The hero of starlight. Gather the light and come here. Link summoning, link 4, double dome night astrum. As the dual tray displays a square-shaped link tray, and the 4 link markers light up. A blue figure, wielding a sword in one hand and a shield in the other, appeared on the field wearing armor. At the moment he appeared on the field, a group of water enthusiasts felt a strong sense of oppression directly from him. Double Dome Night Astrum, Electronics Clan/Links/Effects, Attribute. Light, Link Value. 4, Attack Power. 3000, Watt. Do you still have experts? Sleeping Trough, so handsome. The big brother of Link 4 from Yuanshu Benjia. Are you blind upstairs? You can't see the effect, but you can see the fields. The fields on this card are Machine World Night and Avatar Night. How do I remember these two fields? Our highest is Lick 3. So, the anchor summoned the real big brother who didn't even get anyone else's fields. As the barrage guessed the result, for a moment, the barrage fell into silence. They had thought about other things, but didn't expect them to be so outrageous. Did the host get to use the big brother who others wholeheartedly communicated with and the elf didn't get? How did he communicate with this elf? Even if you are lucky enough to get a flat card, you still need to have the elf's approval to use it. Elves don't agree, it's useless for you to get a flat card. Yuya didn't care about the mood of the water enthusiasts. Declaration of beginning. Entering the battle phase, Astrum, ATK 3000, attacks Rabelins, ATK 2900. At this moment, the Astrum effect is activated. This card can only be activated once when fighting against a specially summoned monster for damage calculation. The attack power of this card only increases the opponent monster's attack power value during that damage calculation. Astrum, ATK 5900, versus Rabelins, ATK 2900. As the long sword of Shuangqiong slashed through Rabelins with the starry light, his figure disappeared. Bain Ji Benji, LP 8000.3000 equals 5000, go on a night tour and end the battle level, cover a card, and the turn ends. Is this the big brother of the Knights of the Machine Realm and the Knights of the Avatar Link 4? Those who can be killed can't be killed anymore. What's all about this? How many monsters can fight in the battle stage Biao attack? And I don't believe that the card in Link 4, the terminal big brother with two fields, has just one effect. Hey, speaking of which, just this one effect is difficult for the goddess Wang to win. That's the truth, but if the queen's hand holds a card or draws a black hole or lightning strike, the outcome is hard to say. As the words fell, a pitch black hole appeared on the field. Under this black hole, Ariana and Astrum on Wang Jialan's field were sucked in and disappeared. Good life, as a reward. Hahaha, the anchor told you to pretend not to kill. We're going to overturn. Looking at the scene before her, even Yu Yi was a bit surprised. Wang Jialan was so lucky that she happened to have a black hole. But he had no fear at all. Wang Jialan only had one hand in her hand. What could a hand in Silver City do? Summoning a monster to block the sword. As expected by Yu Yi, Wang Jialan didn't even cover it and chose to end the turn directly. Returning to the turn of Yi, this time, Yi once again uses the effect of the source number network to pull out 4 source number gates. Brothers, I showed you the 4 fields of Bad Beast, Element, and Machine World/Holy Image, right? Yu Yi looked at Wang Jialan like a candle in the wind with 5,000 health points. I will use gate 234 of source numbers as the link material. Link summoning. Unlimited launch Fortress Million Tons 100 Arm Gale. As the dual tray moves, down left arrow, down right arrow, 3 link arrows light up. A blue excavator monster appears in the additional monster area of Yuya. Unlimited start Fortress Million Tons 100 Arm Gale, Mechanical Family /Link/Effects, Attribute. Ground, Link Value. 3, Attack Power. 4000, Bully. The 5th field of the anchor. Unlimited start. And it's also a big brother who doesn't even have the infinite start field. Good job, the anchor specifically summons the big brother of other people's fields, right? Only I am curious, how did the anchor gain recognition from these elves? Perhaps the anchor is a socialite. What social flower? Tell me more. At the sight of the bullet screen, Rao Shiyu was cheeky and blushed. Cough, can't you? Is there someone taking care of the 2 big brothers of Yuan Shuban's family? The proof is over, I have ended this match. Yuya spoke up and then entered the battle phase. Wang Jialan only had one hand, so she was naturally powerless to resist. With a total of 5,000 direct attacks from the source number Gate 1 and the million-ton 100-arm Gale, she took Wang Jialan away and won the victory. Subsequently, Yu began to crazily score and watch the water enthusiasts in the live broadcast room watch Ma. And he himself, after self-certification, the thousands of black fans he had previously followed turned into red fans, not to mention, but also increased to as many as 100,000. On the other side, inside a villa, a girl dressed in a white dress was replaying the game, full of worries. And this match happened to be the match between Yu Yi and Wang Jialan just now. Can I win by joining the big welcome and opening a group? This girl is naturally Wang Jialan. After the competition, Wang Jialan, who won the championship, communicated with the elf to a higher level and received a great welcome from the new card. As for why it wasn't brought, it's very simple. Someone must know if she carries it to rank, and if she carries it, she will be studied by her opponents. A large scale competition is different from a regular duel. The competition usually consists of 3 sets with 2 wins. Unless it is a multi-field competition, the opponent will definitely find a way to obtain some targeted cards. So she didn't bring it. But, without bringing it. When she reviewed, she found that she had brought a big welcome, but surprisingly had no chance of winning. Also, this person's hand pitch she wants it. But she doesn't know who Yu Yi is, let alone how to find PS. The second step is to ensure stable updates and obtain data. Chapter 8. When did the Golden State's capital launch a counterattack? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding ding, just then, the sound of a video call rang out. Wang Jialan glanced at the contact person and was somewhat surprised. The person who called her was her best friend Li Wangshu, who had the teaching field. This time, she accompanied her to the youth group World Championship. Unfortunately, I encountered a strong opponent in the qualifiers and was eliminated early on. Connecting the phone, Li Wangshu's voice, like a lark, came out from the phone. Jialan really didn't expect that the world champion of our youth group, who was just a bronze master's duel ladder, would be blocked by others and let go without winning. Upon hearing these words, Wang Jialan felt somewhat confused. Ah! What does Wangshu mean? Did you know about my duel on the ladder just now? And what do you say about the person who duels with me being waterproof? That person is live streaming on Bilibili, and I am one of the water enthusiasts watching the battle. I just happened to see you dueling with him. He was actually able to slay you in the first round, but in order to make everyone believe his video, he summoned the twin domes of Lin 4, giving you a chance. Li Wangshu spoke on the phone. After speaking, she aimed the video object at the computer. On the computer, Yu Yi, who had just dueled with him, faced Fan Gu on the opposite side and directly collided with the source number gate, killing his opponent and winning. A carrot of 4 subordinates, they not only serve as link materials, but also have a racing attack effect. Wang Jialan suddenly fell asleep. Until just now, the 4 super monsters pulled didn't have any powerful effects. The key thing to be wary of is the terminal big brother of the link. Now it seems that it's not at all. These 4 monsters all possess the ability of OTK opponents. It's hard to believe, right? At first, I also found it hard to believe. But it's really true. After he just finished playing with you, I watched a few more rounds and confirmed before giving you the video. Li Wangshu turned the camera to himself and explained to Wang Jialan. When she said it, Wang Jialan could see the surprise in her eyes. Obviously, although Li Wangshu accepted the power of Yu Yi, but still deeply shocked. Hey, Jialan, go to the live broadcast room and watch the play. A good show has appeared. Suddenly, Li Wangshu, who had been following Yu's live broadcast, seemed to see something interesting and his eyes showed surprise. Then he said to Wang Jialan with a wicked smile. Wang Jialan nodded with doubts and opened the live broadcast. Then a bewildered smile appeared on his face. No wonder Li Wangshu said so. The opponent for this night tour is undoubtedly her final opponent in the Youth Group World Tournament, the owner of the Golden Country field, Cass. At this moment, the duel began, and Yuya continued to attack from behind as usual. Through the live broadcast, Wang Jialan watched Yuya's hand and finally stayed on the electric blast and feather sweeper, feeling a moment of silence for Cass. The last two cards that the red pit deck wants to encounter are both obtained by Yu Yi. And Cass, as her former opponent, naturally knew that Cass had no means of dealing with magic traps to destroy. Well, she didn't either live streaming. Hahaha, Cass never expected that he would come and fry the fish in the silver section himself, and then blow up the shark and eat himself. Red pit deck. My left hand is an electric shock, and my right hand is a feather sweep. How do you play? After 1 hour of live streaming, the anchor will meet the champion and runner-up of the youth group. If we win, wouldn't it mean that the anchor is the real champion? Anchor. Wang Jialan. Cass. You are just ordinary people born in an era without me. When it comes to speaking, it has to be you. Yu Yi, who is currently broadcasting, naturally noticed this scene. He smiled slightly and did not deny it. Indeed, if he had traveled earlier, Wang Jialanka's. It's just a defeated general in his hands. However, to be honest, Cass's luck is really bad. I already encountered a difficult opponent and even drew an electric shock and a feather sweep. Cass doesn't know yet, just open the game with 5 blocks, increase the coefficient of the underworld, and then end the turn. You draw cards at night, and the limit is lifted. Looking at the cards in hand, all the water enthusiasts who have been watching the game night for an hour know that Cass has cooled down this time and has no chance at all. Leaving aside the 2 meaningless cards of Yui, the combination of electric explosion, feather sweeper, source number wall, and lifting restrictions is enough to kill. Cass didn't know about these things. After the game night draw ended, during the draw stage, he opened the first red pit called Red Blood Stained Golden Kingdom Immortal Medicine, and then launched a chain attack called Gold Village Thieves. Yu Yi has no resistance, you can only watch him move. Chain processing the Thief of Golden Village becomes a monster card, transforming into an undead covered in blood, using attacks as a special summon on the field. The Thieves of Huangjin Township, Undead Tribe / usually, attribute. Light, level 5, attack power 1500, defense force 1800, then, with a strange red light flashing through the field, a tall golden figure appeared on Cass's field. Golden Qin, Golden Kingdom Witch Demon, Undead Clan / effect monster, attribute. Light, level 10, attack power 2500, defense force 2800, crouching slot, can the Golden Qin Gong Biao understand? The monster in the trap card has only 1500 attack power and dares to attack. Hahaha, Cass, is this a bloated fish? Do you think the opponent only got the field, or is it a duel of mortal bones? Rational analysis, I am Cass, and I am also commendable. I am a runner-up in the youth group, only in the silver section. Fighting anyone is not crushing me. Anchor. You're right. Yu Ye's mouth slightly raised, and a meaningful smile flashed in her eyes. As the barrage said, Cass is very confident. The special move of the merit table is obviously to have enough confidence in the backcourt. Gold Country's confidence in the backcourt is definitely not just about exploding fish. Maybe that's the case. It is very likely that one of his remaining 3 blocks is a counterattack trap from the Golden Hometown, known as Eternal Glory of Golden Hometown. With this card in hand, if I only have an electric shock or feather sweep, it would be a bit difficult to pass his game. Yu Yi spoke in the live broadcast room. The people in the live broadcast room were immediately confused upon hearing this. Wang Jialan, who recently won the championship in a 4-game match against Cass, is also very confused. When did the gold state-owned capital fall into a counterattack trap? Why doesn't she know? P.S. The third chapter is here. Ladies and gentlemen, please ask for the data. Chapter 9. If I threaten you, just blink your eyes. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Silver Concubine Bounty Small TV Spaceship * 100. A small TV costs 1,245 yuan, 100 pieces. Thank you, the result is 124500. What? Sleeping trough, the goddess Wang herself. I have confirmed that the authentication number of Wang goddess is correct for me. Hahaha, the anchor's one sentence blew up the goddess Wang. There's no way, in fact, there aren't many Wang goddess who have won over Cass. Now that she knows about the Golden State's counterattack trap, she definitely wants to know what the effect is. Wang Zhelan, who couldn't get an answer for a while, chose to give a reward to attract Yui's attention and thus obtained Yui's answer. With her tips, the entire live broadcast room was filled with greetings and exclamation marks. Senior, may I ask if Eternal Glory of Golden Village is a counterattack against Magic Kong? Wang Zhelan asked about Yu Ye's question. As the barrage said, as an old opponent of Cass, even if Cass doesn't have this card yet, knowing the effect, he will know how to deal with it in the next game. Not just. Watching the backstage suddenly increase by 62,500 yuan, Yi couldn't help but feel a shock in her heart. Is this the world of duels? Is this the rich lady of the world of duels? Starting with a reward of 100,000 yuan. In the next moment, Yi regained consciousness, shook his head at him, and then continued speaking. The card named Eternal Glory of Golden Village can only be activated once per turn. If there is a Golden Kingdom Lich monster on your field, the monster's effect or magic trap card can be activated to liberate and activate one undead monster on your field. Make its activation ineffective and destroy it. Hiss. The three-colored Kong who counterattacked. Is there such a card in the Golden Country field? Are you afraid you're not lying to us, Anchor? A group of water friends were immediately blinded. As is well known, the most noble thing in Kongzhong is tricolor Kong, which is an effect that many terminal brothers and sisters do not possess. And the counterattack trap is even more terrifying, known as the 3-speed effect. Because counterattack traps can only be linked by counterattack traps. That is to say, in general, the effect of this card must pass, and you must take tricolor Kong once. Thinking of this, many water enthusiasts feel terrifying. In fact, it is the same. This card has been restricted once in real cards, indicating its strength. After hearing this, Wang Zhelan's expression sank slightly. From what the anchor has shown so far, he should really know, not to mention bragging. This card really exists. I launched Lightning Storm and chose to destroy the opponent's magical traps on the field. At this moment, Yuya, who was fighting, began to move. Ska immediately opened one of the 3 cover cards on his side. Chain Lightning Storm, liberate the thieves of Golden Village and launch a counterattack trap Eternal Glory of Golden Village. The launch of Lightning Storm is ineffective and destructive. As Yi guessed, one of the 3 blocks is a counterattack trap called Forever Glorious Golden Town. Seeing this scene, the barrage suddenly fell silent, and then even more shocked. Yi was really right. The card that should be placed is really a counterattack trap for the Golden Country family. The anchor is amazing. Ska is clearly visible. Did the anchor know from his use of Gold Village Thieves? That's right. If it weren't for this counterattack trap, he would definitely have left the Gold Village Thieves behind, except for the cards in my cemetery. After all, among experts, there are usually graves or key cards sent to graves for recycling. He didn't wait, which means he has Kong in his hand. Yi nodded and answered the question on the barrage. After speaking, the corners of the mouth began to rise. Activate the magic card Demon Bird's Feather Sweep to destroy all the magic trap cards on the opponent's field. As the words fell, a huge feather sweep appeared on the Scar field, sweeping out a hurricane. Ska no longer has impedance on his side and was directly destroyed by feather sweeping in the backcourt. Afterwards, Yuya activates the Wall of Source Numbers, summoning 4 Source Numbers gates using the Venue Summoning Portal. The restriction is lifted and the fatal 4 combos are taken away directly. The anchor is so strong. Live for 1 hour, slay the champion and runner-up of the youth group off the horse. Goddess Wong. Brother, did you forget that the Goddess Wong was also in the live broadcast room? Goddess, listen to my cunning, explain. Take it to death, Blackie. You're no longer a fan of our Silver Lady. Is it really good for you to say this with the anchor's level 10 fan badge hanging upstairs? This. After taking a glance at the Mixed Talk live broadcast room, Yi prepared to continue. At this moment, Wang Jialan spoke again. Senior, I would like to ask, is there a counterattack trap for our own family in Baiyin City? Looking at the money she had just given herself, Yi naturally gave her an answer. No, the traps of the Silver City family are all common traps. Upon hearing Yui's words, Wang Jialan let out a light sigh. There is no home trap, so be careful when facing Scar's Golden Country later on. After all, there's no way to interrupt. Unfortunately, Goddess Wang is going to suffer later. There's nothing we can do. Who could have prevented the Silver City family from falling into a counterattack trap? It's destined to be passed once. After hearing this, water enthusiasts also expressed regret. Watching many water enthusiasts so pessimistic, Yuye's lips slightly raised. Actually, it's not as tragic as you think. There is a counterattack trap called Red Restart, which has no fields and can reverse all trap cards. It can even be activated in your hand. You can bring it with you, Wang Jialan. Actually, it's not a big deal not to bring it. The traps of the Silver City family are actually very strong. Wang Jialan, you just have 2 important cards that you haven't received yet. One is called Welcome to Rabbis, and its effect is Stop and Stop, thank you for informing us, Senior. We will have a private chat later. When I heard Yi say there were 2 key cards, I was about to say the effect of a big welcome. Wang Jialan immediately became numb and prevented Yi from continuing. If you continue to talk about Yi, don't mention your hidden welcome. Even the second sister who I didn't get, I have to be thoroughly studied by others. Yi smiled slightly and nodded in agreement. After chatting with his water friends for over half an hour, he naturally understood that this was Wang Jialan's intention to hide her trump card. This is a lack of information. As a card player, he couldn't help but understand the importance of information asymmetry. A counterattack trap specifically designed for traps called Red Restart. The Silver City is so strong, there are still 2 very powerful reinforcements left. Great welcome. Private chat. Sleeping slot. Does Lady Wong also have a new card? Anchor, please explain in detail. What are you chatting about privately? Yes, more people have more power. If you have any problems, everyone can come up with a solution together. If Goddess Wong threatens you, just blink your eyes, my brothers will definitely come to save you. P.S. The 4th chapter is here. Kneeling for data. Chapter 10. Hehe, the anchor, your blood is mine. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Jialan, have you received these 2 cards? Li Wangshu, who still maintains video chatting, looked at Wang Jialan in the video with a surprised expression on his face. As Wang Jialan's best friend, she could naturally see that Wang Jialan was so excited just now because she had obtained the card mentioned by the anchor. Otherwise, there wouldn't be such a panic to interrupt the anchor's words. No, I only received a great welcome, not the second sister of my family he mentioned. Wang Jialan nodded and answered, Li Wangshu and she grew up together since childhood, and their families often interacted. Even before their birth, the two had already made a marriage agreement. However, both of them are daughters, so this matter has been abandoned. Then hurry up and ask. Although this person doesn't know why they know the cards in the Silver City field, this is good news. We can strengthen the construction through him. Li Wangshu urged, and after speaking, she paused slightly. With a hint of embarrassment on her face, she smiled awkwardly. Cough, remember to ask the mentor for me. I haven't received a new card for a long time. No problem. Silver Concubine Bounty Small TV Spaceship * 100. Silver Concubine Bounty Small TV Spaceship * 100. Silver Concubine Bounty Small TV Spaceship * 100. Senior, please take a look at this private message. I would like to discuss with you the construction of the White Silver City. As the crowd of water enthusiasts played with rhythm, with Wang Jialan's words, 3 more reward messages appeared. What? The anchor told me, you won't be bought by money, will you? I have been your fan for 10 years, the anchor. I know you wouldn't be so outspoken. Anchor, with so many brothers watching, would you explain in front of everyone how to modify the construction of the goddess Wang? Cough cough, am I such a person? This is someone else's privacy, we need to learn to respect their privacy. Yi coughed lightly twice and continued the duel. During the duel match, Yi glanced at the backstage and discovered Wang Jialan's private message. Do you have time after the seniors live broadcast? I would like to discuss with you the construction of the Silver City. Sure. Yi thought for a moment and then agreed. Anyway, after the live broadcast, he has nothing to do. Going to school. They all hinted that they don't need to go for a week, why do they go on their own? It's better to have a live master duel, gain emotional points, and quickly draw out the true mainstream deck. The source of strong numbers is completely on the abuse of vegetables. If you encounter some strong decks from your own family, and you happen to not have them, you'll be done. So he also needs a truly strong deck at the very least, there must be a true mainstream like Lei Jingluoyin. Of course, if you can draw Zhu's tears, then you can't blame him for directly clearing this world with a deck of cards. At night. Wow, I'm so tired. Finally, I've reached the platinum rank. In a set of silky skating fields, and then after 4 consecutive collisions with the flying dragon riding face, Yi watched as the originally golden eagle emblem transformed into a platinum wolf head. From afternoon to evening, he reached the platinum rank. What? Tired. How many hours of platinum plating from bronze, never losing a game, you say tired? Anchor, if you keep pretending, you'll die for me. Senior, what water enthusiasts are saying is that it takes me a week to get platinum, and you're really too fast. It also takes a week. It has been internalized. Is this what I, as a bronze boy, can see? Hahaha, actually platinum is not difficult. Through the afternoon duel, I think as long as everyone learns to make double domes, then basic platinum is not a problem. Yi watched the barrage and explained to the people inside. The person deck in this world is too pure. Below the middle section of silver, there are basically no fields for mortal bone battles. There is a field from silver to gold, but it hasn't been long since the field was obtained. Starting with gold, there are already fields, but they are not very strong. For example, demon birds, shadows, disruptors, bodyguards, and so on. As the field becomes stronger and the home becomes stronger, the rank becomes higher. But these fields, as Yuya mentioned earlier, basically do not have anyone who can solve the double dome, which is a bit of a dimensionality reduction blow. There's no way, my family is too weak. Anchor, would you like to see what you're saying? Platinum is not difficult, as long as you have a double dome, you can get there. Anchor, what kind of fairy are you talking about? When did we give you the confidence to make you feel like you could create the Link 4 Big Brother for the Machine Knight and Avatar Knight fields? Yes, no one with the fields of Machine Knight and Elephant Knight can summon the Double Dome. Senior, water enthusiasts are right. Shuangqiong is really not something we can do. Look, even Goddess Wang can't bear to see the next explanation. Yu Yi. I was careless and accidentally brought into reality, thinking only about the weakness of my opponent. The same goes for the water enthusiasts who forgot to watch his live broadcast. Under field limitations, it is impossible to summon the Double Dome. Cough, let's not talk about these unpleasant things, let's continue our duel. Yu Yi coughed slightly awkwardly before continuing the duel. Quickly, the opponent matched up. Not going to a partner versus Hygiene Girl. How come she looks so familiar? It's not familiar, she's Akuya herself. Laugh to death, victim +1. Senior sister's luck is really bad. She actually met a senior. Even though she became a big sister in Link 4 and was able to fully resist on the field, she couldn't do anything when facing bad beasts. The game begins. On the opposite side of Yuya, choose a back attack on the opposite side, and Yuya attacks first. Is Haijing giving way first? Yuya's attention is partly focused on the barrage, naturally noticing who this person is. So it's a bit confusing, playing with Haijing and having a back attack. Aren't you afraid of being interrupted by a backhand? The impedance of this world is small, but not without it. Just then, a reward appeared. The Hygiene Girl is so cute. Reward the small TV spaceship *10. Hehe, I'll take your blood, Anchor. With the reward, a barrage appeared. Yu Yi. No wonder he chose a back attack, he turned out to be a member of the live broadcast room. It should have been through live streaming observation that he found a way to deal with the number of sources he thought he was dealing with. After all, even if you attack first and create the Double Dome, Haijing can still use traps to solve it. What? Akuya herself is also watching the Anchor's live broadcast. The popularity of the live broadcast room by the Anchor is among the top 10 on Bilibili. What's strange about it? Isn't the focus on one blood? Is this one blood righteous? Really, since that's the case, I can only expose my next field. Let you see what it means, the value of the leader. After figuring out the reason, Yi looked at her hand with a sinister smile and said that even with this hand, you can win by attacking first. Ah! Do you still have experts? Akuya was also momentarily blinded.